Hey, it's your girl, Crystal D. Yes, Crystal Dominique, and you are watching Sidebar Conversations with Crystal D, of course. We are here every Monday. Even though I took off last Monday, I just want to apologize and thank you for waiting for me because now I'm here. So today is July the 11th. We are approaching a full moon in Sagittarius. I'm super excited about the energy right now. So make sure you guys are out there spending some time releasing yourself from any negative energy that holds on to you. Also, it's Cancer season. So shout out to my Cancer birthdays. It's Scorpio season for me all year round, but I definitely want to make sure I shout out the season that we are in. So tonight's show, we are talking about the one, the only Beyonce. Tonight's show is called Beyoncé Beyond the Beehive because we're going to tap in a little bit more, a little bit deeper into some of the symbolism and some of the conversation that she has stirred up in the latter part of her career and how we've seen that show up in different albums and through her imagery, through her lyrics, through her messages. And I have Miss Sadiqa Love returning to the show to join me in this conversation. Sadiqa,
Hey
happy Monday.
y'all. Happy Monday. Yes. Happy Monday. Yes,
Yes.
this is happy, not hairy, y'all.
I love the energy, Sadiqa, that you bring. And when I thought of this conversation and I was just like, who else can I bring in to tap in? You popped up in my head because the synergy is like so real. And this is a very important topic because um you hear a lot of conversation around Beyonce and the Beehive. And as I mentioned, we're going beyond the Beehive, right? Like we want to talk about something bigger than just a musician or being fans of the music, but as you and I have talked about a lot, how do we like really evaluate and analyze some of the music, some of the messages, some of the imagery, and just like talk about it in a more important, high level conversation, right? But before we jump in, let me just introduce you officially. Okay, so we have Miss Adika Love, right? She's a creative entrepreneur. She works on projects like HNIC Con. You're gonna have to tell us what that is.
Okay.
And you also have a very a big deal project with you and your mother right now, black owned business, black owned mother and daughter owned business. Let's talk about that. Moldar, correct?
Oh, Mador. Mm-hmm.
Mador. I
Mador.
love it. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about you and your mother's business as well
Yeah.
as HNIC Con. This is
Yeah. Yeah.
all new terminology for me. So I want you to break
Of
it down
course.
before we tap
No
into this
problem.
conversation.
So about 5 years ago, my mom and I teamed up to create Mador, where we just wanted to do things to empower other women. And we do a lot of charity, like random acts of kindness through Mador, but we're both very spiritual people. And
Mm-hmm.
naturally, we just wanted to start creating spiritual tools. So originally, I wanted to just launch a quick little capsule collection on Juneteenth, but intuitively, knowing that that just wasn't the right move to rush into something so, important. So just want to launch a whole lot of like tools. Like we have our mala beads, our waist beads. Well, actually, one second, y'all. That's my mom talking to me real quick. Crystal, hold it down for me real quick, real quick.
Oh, it's all good. So we are going to talk for those who are watching about Beyonce Behind the Beehive. We're going to do an exploration of the music tonight once Adika joins us again. And I've been a fan of Beyonce, I would say, like since early Destiny's Child days. And a lot of times when you hear folks talk about Beyonce, whether they're fans or naysayers, you hear about this almost improper, like I won't say improper, but it's almost like a judgmental, like, like why are you part of the Beehive? Why you love Beyonce so much? I hear that all the time. And I just really wanted to discuss this because it's so important for me to really look at the music, the imagery, the symbolism that this particular artist has placed in her music and in a lot of her projects to educate about spiritual information, to educate about historical information that we might not all be privy to, and without beating around the bush, like we're talking about. Thanks for joining again, Sadiqa. But I didn't want to go in too deep because you're like really well educated on everything from your deities, and definitely you come with a strong presence and knowledge about astrology. So we were talking before about how Beyonce's music has a heavy presence around astrology, numerology, and ancient African spirituality, um, with a lot of mention to deities that not
Yeah.
everyone is as educated about. So, I know you were kind of interrupted there, but did you want to wrap up and finish talking about your business and before we dive
Oh
on in?
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, actually, just it kind of runs into it because I'm not gonna lie. Like for me, I love seeing Beyonce kind of outwardly showcase her knowledge of spirituality because I don't even know where she aligns. You know what I mean? Because she
Hmm.
just is expressing so much of it. But like even when making things like when making a mala right now, I was inspired to make, and that's why I know why I'm touching on it like baseline of African like deities and
What's
so
a mala? You
forth.
said a
A
mala? Explain
mala,
that.
yeah. So a mala bead. Do I
What's
have
that?
one with me? Okay, I actually have one right next to me. So it's like a
What's
strand
that?
of beads that you can literally pray with, meditate with. There's a special number of beads that you get, and then you have your guru bead on the end. So literally, I will go through each bead saying an affirmation or make it
Okay.
or taking a breath. So it's a prayer tool or a meditation tool or it's a practice. So, but yeah,
And where
like
did you learn that at, if you don't mind me asking?
well, I do like so many different like spiritual classes and so forth. So I was in this prayer class. I always knew about Mala, but in this prayer class, and it's not prayer like Christian prayer, it's metaphysical prayer. And we were
Hmm.
learning about the tools of prayer. It helps you to focus and they look pretty. And you can use natural stones. So like this one is pink zebra jasper and it has its own like meaning and so forth. So if you are looking for unconditional love, grab a rose quartz mala, and do your affirmations. I am loved. I am deeply connected to a soulmate. Like whatever, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I love it. It's powerful for me. But honestly, seeing like Beyonce and how she's been portraying certain things even made me want to explore deeper into African spirituality. Like I already was interested, but
Hmm.
seeing that, like, okay, someone I really admire, like I'm a Beyonce stan, I'm a part of the Beehive, but I'm beyond the Beehive too because when you like love someone, you hold them accountable too. You don't just think everything they do is the greatest. So like I always critique Beyonce too because if you really support them, you critique them, right? But seeing how she was like showcasing a lot of Oshun energy, like I've been
Mm.
inspired to make things inspired by Oshun. You know what I mean? I'm
So
wearing
wait, let's
Oshun's
pause for
colors
a
right
second.
now.
Oh, I see. I see. You got your yellow on. So, you spoke on it. So you said seeing her representation, seeing her represent ocean energy, inspired you to
Hmm.
wanna. Did you say we wanted to learn more?
To
You wanted
learn
to.
more about it, yeah, because I would say some years ago I was learning more about African spirituality. But when you jump into African spirituality, you can find so many just things, I would say, so many
Hmm.
stories, so many methods. So, with these particular deities, it's more from the Yoruba culture, right?
Yes.
And
Yoruba.
so
Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah,
Keep
and it's
going. I'm
very
listening.
like, and it's large, but it's still niche because then, like, what about all the other African, like, metaphysical teachings throughout the whole continent? There's
Hmm.
many. So I came across that. And then when I saw Beyonce and, like, how it's in her songs, like, there's actually in her songs, if you listen to
Hmm.
The Gift, she speaks about them. Seeing
What does it
Lemonade.
mean to you to see that though? Like.
It is like to me our past coming back to the present, like our distant past. Because think about this, like back in the day, before there was so much, I would say, colonization. Um, the way that our people practiced their spirituality was out in the open. So you know what I mean. It was
Hmm.
mainstream. So to see a mainstream artist reflect our past or at least a piece of our people's past, like that was like life, sort of like life altering a little bit, you know what I mean? I'm
Hmm.
seeing this deity in modern form, mainstream, out in the open on the media, which we know in America is controlled by who? but we still
So
shine through.
I hear you. I hear you. So I'm curious because I want to go back a little bit into
Yes.
the ocean energy that you talked about. We saw Beyonce represent ocean energy in obviously the Grammy performance when she did the Lemonade Melody. Some analysts of the song when she's walking through the street like breaking stuff.
Yes.
What song is that?
Hold up. They don't love you like I
Hold up.
love you.
Hold up. Some analysts has even like attached ocean energy to that particular
For
video as well,
sure.
with all the yellow and the different dynamics of power and femininity that we saw in that video. Tell us a little bit about ocean, because I know you've done your research into the deities
Yes.
and what is ocean energy? What does that mean?
So to keep it really like uh base, you know what I mean? To give it to you straight, I would say Oshun, she's the goddess of sweet waters. So of like sensuality. I wrote this down, y'all, so I'm prepared, okay?
I
But
like it.
of love and beauty and sensuality. And ocean energy to me is very giving and it's very alluring. But it's not like completely selfless. You know, there are so many stories of Oshun and how she has interacted with the gods or the masculine deities, right? And she builds them up. You know what I mean? But when they do her wrong, she will take it away. And I feel like Beyonce embodies that, even with the situation with Jay Z. He's been transparent about it. Like she left. I had to go get her back. I had to put her in an element where she could be that woman of love and beauty and sensuality, sweet water. He had to create that space
Mhm.
like a Catholic
We
rose.
have a comment that came into the chat, and I think that was in reference to your beads earlier, like a Catholic
Like a
rosary.
rosary. Honestly, in my
Would you
opinion,
compare the beads that you had earlier with that?
I feel like they can be comparable, but they're nothing alike because the mala definitely predates the rosary.
Mm, okay. Okay, we are talking about some ancient spirituality. Look, so you were talking about Beyonce and how she embodies all this stuff in her music, right? I know she's educating. My take on it is I get a little bit of education on African spirituality. I get symbolism on things that maybe I don't understand that come from a place that predates some of the things that I've learned. But the embodiment of it in her story, in her tracks, in her lyrics, in her videos, and we have to go off of that, right? Because we don't know her personally. But I
Yes.
have the book Beyonce Information.
Oh
It's
my God.
actually a really
Okay.
good book, remixing Black feminism. And reading this book, this particular author talks about like how in Lemonade, Beyonce
Mhm.
actually uses this project to really remix and represent Black feminism and what it looks like in the modern day time and modern woman in
Yeah.
today's time, and even how you see in her personal life what you do know about it, but also what you see in representation in music videos. She is like remixing what it means to be a Black feminist, and that's sexy, that's strong, that's someone that's very open minded about her sexuality, sex
Mhm.
positive. I'm not ashamed of who I am. And I'm also very strong in mind, body,
Yeah.
soul, spirit, right? So going back to the embodiment of Oshun energy, like what I just want to pivot and ask, like, what other examples do you have where she's embodying either the spiritual part that she is educating us about, or just whatever other
Yeah.
Beyonce moods
So
you want to talk about?
with one, I don't know if it's widely talked about because I feel like people talk about the other inspirations, but the song Spirit that she did
Mhm.
for Lion King, when you
Mhm.
look at the music video, I feel like that is a great example because sometimes when we're talking about Oshun, we're always focusing on that like sensual part of things, but there's a an aspect to sensuality that has nothing to do with like seduction, you know? I feel like
Mhm.
it's the softness, it's the flow, like you know what I mean? And in that music video, Spirit, there ain't nothing but flow. There's just like the movements, what she's even saying, and sort of how when you see her, she's in this feminine softness, but she's
Mm.
out loud, strong words. And she's speaking of strength in a way that has nothing to do with really being masculine at all. Like it's really just
Mm.
feeling inside of your spirit, knowing who you are, and allowing that to outwardly protect and fight for you. And I don't know, there's something about that that just reminds me a lot of what, like if Oshun had a music video, Spirit would be one of her music videos. Just one, you know, her
No, I
inspirational
love
music
it.
video.
Do you mind if I read a little bit from Spirit? Because I don't think we pay enough attention to the
Mhm.
lyrics
Yeah.
that we've been hearing from that's come from her artistry lately. But and we're gonna tap into a couple more lyrics too, because I'm thinking Black Parade should be discussed. Mood Forever should be discussed. But let's talk about Spirit since you mentioned it. And is there a particular line that you can think of, or is it okay if I dive in?
Oh, dive in. Yep, dive in.
Okay, let's do it. So, yes, Spirit, watch the heavens open. Yes, Spirit, can you hear it calling? Your destiny is coming close. Stand up and fight. So go into that far off land and be one with the great I am, I am. A boy becomes a man. Mm.
I just,
I'm dramatic, right? So I get real dramatic, but like it sounds so much better with the melody. But I just wanted to read that because you're spot on in referencing that particular track.
I love that, like that line alone. And it, again, if people have the time, go and research some of the stories between Oshun and the masculine deities, and
Mm.
how she literally takes a man and I'm not gonna say she builds them, but she tries to bring out the best of them and assist in their growth through her gifts. So yeah,
Mm, mm, the way you just said that. I love it. I love it. All right, let's pivot a little bit.
yeah.
What other song, I'm going to ask you because I'll talk for days about it, but give me a new track in the catalog that you connect to, either with symbolism, messaging, lyrics, whatever. Let's talk about
Okay.
another
Well,
Beyonce Beyond the Beehive.
you already brought up one song, like though it's not one
Okay.
of the newest, of course, um, because we can get into Break My Soul anytime. But when you brought up Move Forever, right?
Crystal's a good one. Yeah.
So
Let's talk
the
about it.
video, first of all, I listened to the song Forever Before Black is King came out. It was one of my favorite songs because the song itself is a vibe. And I actually want to pull up the lyric that
Mm-hmm.
she says because
Oh, we could
she has
talk
that
for an
confidence.
hour on Move Forever.
It's the confidence, right, that she portrays in like her second verse. Let's pull
Okay,
this.
let's do it.
Okay. First of all, she's like, I'm so unbothered. I'm so unbothered. Y'all be so pressed about I'm raising daughters. Oh my God. All right. But let me go down. So I love this. When she says, like, I am Beyonce, Giselle Knowles Carter. I am the Nala, sister of Naruba, Oshun, Queen Sheba. I am the mother. Ankh on my gold chain, ice on my whole chain. I be like soul food. I am a
I
whole
am a
mood.
whole mood. So I bring that song up a lot because one of my favorite parts of that song is I know my enemy prey on me. So pray for me. Tick
Mm.
tick wait on it. I'm keeping down my body count. I'm finessing
That's
like a
like a
trap bounce.
child
Cause
bounce.
every day above ground is a blessing. I done leveled up, now view panoramic. None of my fears can't go where I'm headed. Had to cut them loose. I'm loose. Break the levee. So listen,
I can go through the
I
whole song.
I can go through that whole song, right? And so I'm so glad we're talking about this because I think we be missing it. Like this is my confusion. You know, the non beehive and the naysayers, right? I won't even. Everybody doesn't have to be a beehive member. Everybody doesn't have to be a
Hmm.
fan. But I find that some of the folks who are not really I don't consider myself a fan of the music. I consider myself a someone who is a Beyonce historian. I'm gonna be very honest.
Mm.
So I don't like being associated as a fan of the music. I watch, I analyze, and I really I'm trying to pull the layers off. And Move Forever, I had an individual tell me I don't like that song because it's all about capitalism. It's a very big conversation around capitalism as well. And this was like a Beehive member, actually a fan. We
Mm.
we Beyonce hopped to multiple concerts together, and this person
Okay.
mentioned, yeah, it's all about capitalism. I think "Move Forever" is a song that you can really get lost in the idea of capitalism because of the imagery that was portrayed. But music is about a moment in
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
and I could probably read 10 chapters of a book in one album, right? And "Move Forever" is about understand who you are. You come from a dynasty of royalty. And that's the glitz, the glam, the gold, the
Yes.
the good. So I do think there's deep lyrics in that song that we can look deeper into, but also understand that a part of our story is royalty. And it doesn't mean that that's the only piece of the story. So I wanted to share that. But so
But
we
you're
have another
speaking
comment.
it. Oh
Go
goodness.
ahead.
Let's see. I was just saying you're speaking on. Oh.
It's the lyric breakdown for me. Like it's deep, right? It's deep. Go
Yes.
ahead. What were you
And
gonna say?
you're speaking on something that is actually prevalent in the continent of Africa. Like when you look
Yes.
at the most successful Africans, there is a portrayal of wealth visually that
Mhm.
that is present. And is that
Mhm.
so bad? I don't think so. I think how we portray
Mhm.
wealth could always improve no matter what part of the world we're in. But if
Yeah.
you look at the continent of Africa, whether it's glitz and glam in the modern way, or
Yeah.
if you look at the people living in the village and their sort of visual um, methods of showing their wealth, it's always this collection of beauty and showing you
Yeah.
what I have, what I've experienced. Like if you're rocking some of the stuff that Beyonce rocks, you have had to work for that wealth, especially as a black woman. And I don't,
Mhm.
regardless of the privileges that Beyonce is granted, it's not without hard work, it's not without sacrifice that she's able to afford these things that she's talking about. You know what I mean? So if she
Yeah.
says that you're staying in the Ramada in this song, she's just saying like that's where you at. This is where I
Yeah.
am. And I'm showing you like this is what, where we come
Yeah.
from.
No. I think it's the hard work, right? And I have to bring it back to this though, because it's some strategy in presenting this to the people. It's about, yes, I can afford the luxuries through my hard work, but you also can you should see your power. You should see where you come
Yes.
from. You have to be knowledgeable about where you come from in order to break free of the chains that bind you.
Hmm.
And when I listen to, and don't get me wrong, Beyonce has been doing a thing for a minute, right? We have her first album, Dangerously in Love, which I feel like was definitely like more of a music industry album, right?
Hmm.
It showcased her talent and she did her thing on the stage, right?
Hmm.
Just to make her mark. You
Yes.
have the B Day album, which again it was
Uh,
another artistry album. It set her in a place to make her
yes.
mark as the top performing artist out here, right? Then you start to move into stuff like Four, and then I'm sorry, I can't forget I Am Sasha Fierce. I Am Sasha Fierce was the album, and I'm getting to a point, right? I Am Sasha Fierce was an album where it's like, okay, I'm about to split, y'all. A lot of people don't catch this. I'm about to give y'all this studio album and I'm about to kill it in this concert show. But I Am Sasha Fierce, the whole thing around the split personality is I'm about to show y'all who I really am.
Yes.
And you got the studio album, you got the ballads with the I Am, and you got the pop hits, right, with the Sasha Fierce piece. However, if you notice after that album, the split occurred from Four to Beyonce to Lemonade. It was a
Mm,
step up that explored even more of spirituality, even more of what it is that we as people need to hear and understand about ourselves. And it was kind of like a moment of I'm breaking free of the
mhm.
industry.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell my people what it is, what my people need to hear. So I wanted to tap in a little bit more to the Black is King album because there's one more song I want to read a quote from. But let's hop into
Let's
this
do it.
comment right quick. All right, so we have a comment. I don't know what that's saying. I don't know what that is. We're gonna put that comment back down, y'all. 'Cause I don't know what he asking for, but
Love it.
so let's tap in.
Let's do it.
Black is King. Okay, I'm still on it because I know I mentioned Black Parade. I think that's a given. But can we talk
Yes.
about power? Because Power slips through the cracks sometimes.
That was like my first favorite song when I first listened to the album, because it was so of whatever African culture she pulled it from, because I can't get it right now, but it sounds just like it. And then the artist that she used,
Hmm.
Philly's own Tierra Whack.
Hmm.
Okay. I should have had the names. Crystal, I think you probably got the people on the songs, because
What, on Power?
yeah.
You mean the
So
artist?
the
I'll get it
artist,
for you.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll get it for you. But go ahead.
But each artist is an outlier in wherever they're from. They're like outlier musicians from their places. Like Tierra Whack is from Philly, but she's unlike any other musical artist from Philly. She's truly an
Mm,
outlier. And the other two, who are African
I have it.
African
So we
born
got Tierra
musicians.
Whack on
Yeah.
Power. We have I Moonchild, Sanelli. I may say this wrong. You have Naja. She killed
Mm-hmm.
it towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
And Busiwa.
I
Busiwa.
think Busiwa.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
she's I listen to like a lot of her music, and again, she's an outlier. Like, her music, her style is so authentic to who she is, but
Yeah.
also she pulls in her culture. Like Tierra Whack pulls out Philly, but in a way that you've never seen it before. So I feel like Beyonce's strategy, and whoever she worked with on creating the music and the song, it's another example of her as an artist, as a designer of like
Yeah.
music and experience.
What's so interesting that you said that, right? This is a sidebar, because we're talking about sidebars.
Hmm.
But I don't know if you remember the year that Adele won Album of the Year for her 25 album, and it was the same year that Lemonade was nominated for Album of the Year. Adele won. Obviously, we don't have to say much about Lemonade. Lemonade was a masterful body of work beyond musical performance. But Adele went to the stage to accept her award. And I think I lost Adika. All right, she'll come back. So the year that Adele won for 25, she accepted her award and said to the audience, Beyonce's Lemonade album is like the best album. And it makes my black friends feel pride. It makes my black friends, my black girlfriends feel good. It's just overall like the best body of work that has been produced this year. And in her accepting speech, she spoke for about 5 minutes about the quality, the body of work the effort that she put into that particular album. So for Sadiqa to say that, she's a designer of music, I think that moment was a moment where even Adele kind of like gave homage to that. And I think it's very interesting that when you listen to Adele's latest album, 30, she has actually taken a page from the Beyonce book of Lemonade. If you really tap into Adele's 30, not taken away from Adele, she's a phenomenal artist, right? She is in her own light, very much as capable as Beyonce. But if you really tap into Adele's latest album, you will see similarities in the production. There's an echo, slight echo,
Probably my
Sadiqa.
phone. Let me
You're
know.
good.
It's better now.
Yes, much better. But I was just tapping into what you said, how she's a designer of music, right? And I was just going back to Adele's reference about how amazing that body of work was when Lemonade came out and Adele won Album of the Year over Beyonce. Her entire speech was dedicated to Beyonce because you could tell she was overwhelmed at the work ethic that went into that. And if you listen to the latest album from Adele, it to me it's really very similar to Lemonade. You can tell she was inspired. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying that she's copying. She did her own
Yeah.
thing, right? She has her own story.
Yeah.
But you can tell it inspired her to design something similar and be as vulnerable to let people in to that level of motion and that level of storytelling and put it in such a beautifully crafted body of work. So Someone said in the chat that your comment about designer of music, that's dope. Like, so I had to go into that Adele tangent,
Mm,
but enough said. Let's tap into the lyrics from Power, because you talked a lot about the artists who made Power. But can we talk about these lyrics? Listen, I'm going right in. Are you ready?
yes.
Are you
Ready.
ready? Are
Ready.
you sure?
Listen.
Because this one about to go in. So if you think about Power, Beyonce's Power from the is it the Lion King gift, the video, we're talking about all white scene, red, like bold coloring. We saw deep royal blues. We saw, bright, deep reds. I mean, like it was just like like it was a mastery of like use of color when it
Yeah.
comes to a video imagery, especially if you're talking about going back to the roots, and let's talk symbolism about African people and where you come from and representing spiritual power, right? So the video was amazing, but I'm going to go ahead and read the lyrics. My favorite lyrics are from Beyonce, actually.
Okay.
And she says, of course, they'll never take my power, right? All right, hold on. I can't find it. Hold on. Okay, I'm ready, y'all. I'm ready. I'm ready. This that rhythm.
Mm,
This that lightning. This that burn. This ain't no perm. This that nappy. This that herb. This that kinfolk. This that skinfolk. This that war. This that bloodline. On the front line. I'm ready for war. Where you gonna run?
where you gonna run? Yes, where you gonna run?
Ooh,
That's what she said.
like where you gonna run? I love
Mhm.
like this that bloodline, right?
Yes.
We're talking about a lineage of people who have been oppressed, and we're talking about releasing those people from that oppression. This
Mm-hmm.
that bloodline. This that nappy. This ain't no perm.
Mm.
You know what
Yes.
I mean? Like it's not the first
Yes.
time she's actually referenced the hair as a symbol to freedom.
Yeah.
Anyway, but go ahead. What you got to say? Because I'll go in.
No, I was letting you go in, to be honest, because I don't, there's something about this song that is legit. Like,
Mhm.
it's just unapologetic. They're not holding back any of them. And then the video, what I love about the white background
Mhm.
is that it just allows them to showcase. We don't need no like special imagery. We don't need like a beautiful scene to shine. Like we just us alone is enough. Like that's how I felt when I was watching the
Mhm.
video because all the other videos are so visually stimulating with beautiful
Mm.
imagery and settings and so forth. And you come with this like clean slate video with women being loud about our power. It's like to the core and in their own creative expressions. Everybody sounds different. Each
Mm.
artist, like that's what I can't get over. Like that's how I feel about power. And the fact that it's even called power and it's women. Like,
Mhm.
in some cultures power is, it's a man's thing, And when women get it, it's a special thing. This song made it feel like a normal thing for women. Like this is our birthright. This is power
Mhm.
is what we're born with.
Well, white is also a color that's meant to represent pure, fresh. It's
Yeah.
fresh, it's clean.
Yeah.
Um, but
It's yeah.
against the other color backgrounds that you saw, I think the meaning goes beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Really
all
like
right,
that.
what's your
Yeah.
other? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go
No,
ahead.
I was just agreeing with you. Like, yes.
Yeah. What because we're hitting at a time. I want to do an EYL update too.
Mhm.
Because my girl Sadiqa is heading to ATL with me as well to Invest Fest. A black woman in business, Miss Sadiqa Love here, and we have several things in common, being into our spiritual practices when it comes to the metaphysical, but also being very in tune with what's needed about around business. I want us to close this out before we finish talking about Beyonce to talk about InvestFest, because that's going down April 5th through the 7th, and Miss Sadiqa Love will be there with me. So we're going to talk about InvestFest before we drop. I love that you're spiritually grounded and your chakras are balanced like mine, and you're also into your money. I love that. But
Yes.
let's wrap this B conversation up. To give me what is your favorite all time B song in reference to this topic.
Mm, that, oh my God, that is For me, it has to be, damn, that is so hard because so many songs off the gift that I love, off gift that I love, or the gift. But you already brought up, I love Black Parade. I just do.
Okay.
I just do.
Good
I
one.
don't know, but I love. There's so many more I love too because
Well, let's tap into Black Parade because that's an
yeah.
important one, and we didn't talk about it. What's Give me a lyric. Give me some, what matters. Why does Black
Well,
Parade matter to the people? You tell me.
um, I think it's the line, and you're gonna have to correct me because I'm losing the melody. But when she says, like, that's the reason they all mad. Like, that's like my favorite line. And for me, it's like that growth of Beyonce, where like you talked about, where Beyonce on Dangerously in Love would have never said this,
No, no,
strategically. And I
no.
love, and even though Beyonce has always been granted more freedom, like artistically, at least that's what's been said,
Hmm.
she just takes it, and her record label just be like, go ahead, girl. So I just
Well,
love
you got to
that
be
she
Beyonce to get to that point, though.
right, right. So I just love
But
that she said it.
not to cut that off though, but
Yeah.
you this is where I say it's beyond the beehive, right? Because I joked you got to be Beyonce to be able to get away with some of the stuff she's doing, but how many artists get to that status and they don't go to what's true for their culture, their people. She takes a stand for what she believes in. It's no secret that she comes from a lineage, a family bloodline of people who are rooted in this knowledge, right? So for her to use her platform to continue that messaging is
Yeah.
it's not a coincidence, and it's very strategic, and that's super important to call out.
Yeah, and it's like the crazy thing is I can't say that Black Parade is like my favorite B song, but for
Mm-hmm.
me it's like a culmination of what she's seen spiritually. Even the music behind that eh, like it just sounds like a cry, like a cry, like a good one though. Like when if black people gather, we're making sounds that are like natural to us from our gut. You know what I mean? We're
Mm.
in formation, like we're in a line.
Woo!
Like it just feels so natural to hear it.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
love that she
She
calls
says,
it a black parade. We're always celebrating.
I got to call it out. I'm going back to the South. I'm going back
Yes.
where my roots ain't watered down, growing like I can never say this right, bobob tree
Yeah.
of
Oh
life
yeah.
on fertile ground. Ancestors put me on game. Unc charm on gold chains with my old shoon energy.
See, she
It's deep.
mentions it
It's deep.
more than once. So I
It's
love
deep.
it. Yes.
Black Parade is a good one for me. You can actually I'm not even going to name a song.
Hmm.
Do you know when I first felt that people who know me, they know I've been paying $500 to sit third row seats with Beyonce probably since I was in high school or college, right? So at one point it was like, oh my gosh, I'm just kind of sort of admiring this woman who can sing, who can dance. My father's been in the music industry for years, so we grew up a very family oriented bunch. We're concert goers. We appreciate the artistry and the presentation, right? So I have to be honest, a lot of my early interest was around that because anybody who goes to a concert that Beyonce puts on, you're going to get that. So it started for me there, appreciating the artistry and
Hmm.
her talents. But the first time that I experienced that Beyonce beyond the Beehive, right? Beyonce in formation, Beyonce a black feminist, remixing black feminism,
Yes.
Beyonce educating me about my spirituality. The first time I had a moment of like, wait, something different is happening here. It was actually on that Beyonce album with Grown Woman.
Oh my
Do you
God.
remember? Grown Woman isn't even a really big hit.
Mm.
You have
Oh
to
my
watch her
God.
perform it in concert. But when I saw Grown Woman, I realized something else is happening here.
Yeah.
There was a lot of African dance in that video. There was a lot of representation to the women who have inspired her, her mother, the women around her, her sister, and her group members. And I felt there something different was happening with her music. If you watch Ghost, which is on the video of the Beyonce album. What's this? This is like fourth or fifth album, right? Like that was the
Yeah.
album that dropped in the middle of the night and no one knew
Yeah.
she had an album
I
coming. Do
remember
you
that
remember?
time. Like Grown Woman coming out when it did was so pivotal for me. I went to a conference And as a conference goer, you had to give a song that represents your life at that time.
Hmm.
And Grown Woman was the song that I submitted. So it was added to the conference's playlist. Like, I was at that pivotal point of womanhood for me when that song came out. So it like, yeah, like I felt it when it dropped. I was like, yes.
So Ghost, and not to take away from Grown Woman, because yes, phenomenal track. I'm running at this point, but Ghost. If folks really go back and watch Ghost, watch the performance of Ghost, and watch the music video of Ghost, you see the birth of something different.
Mm,
You see a woman who's coming into her own, who's I think embracing feminine energy, feminism, and honestly tapping in a little bit to some metaphysical stuff, because Ghost was very it was a presentation that you had to analyze to understand.
mm.
Does that make sense?
It does. No, it makes sense. Like it needs to be revisited, basically. Period. Can I give some shout outs or just quick
Yeah, let's do
highlights?
it. Let's
Check
do it.
out Deja Vu and Deja Vu
Okay.
live performances. Gives
Yeah.
very much what people are saying Chloe is now.
Yeah.
That was when that Beyonce could not hold back. Shout outs to I am Sasha Fierce. I am is
Mm.
a declaration. It's an affirmation. You know, I am is aligning yourself with whatever is your most high. I am. So that she knows what she was
Ooh, she
doing.
knew
She
what she was
knows.
doing.
She knew.
So, and a lot of people out here trying to figure out what's going on with the birth of all these independent women. Like, I mean, be honest, like they've been sleeping on the education that we've been receiving for many a years through soundtracks like this. You
Yes.
have an era of women that grew up listening to Erica Badu, Jill Scott, Beyonce. There's
Lauren.
probably more that Lauren Hill. So you have a certain level. I have a show that's coming up very soon. It's going to be about. It's going to be called Belle is a Feminist. And it's going to take us through an exploration of the feminists in Disney movies, right? And the reason why I want to talk about this, because a lot of times in society, we are experiencing oppressive things that don't allow us to be who we want to be, but internally, the feminist is always there, right? I use Belle as an example. I actually got inspired by one of your posts because Belle is my Disney animal
Yes.
soul sister, but super feminist in that particular movie. But you have a lot of women that was raised listening to a lot of music, like Beyonce, Jill, like I said, Lauren, and Erica Badu, learning how to balance ourselves with our spirituality, also navigate in a world where our sexuality is asked to be tamed, but we're a woman, hear me roar. You get what I mean? Like, and then we're
Yes.
independent, making our own money. Like, oh my gosh, we could talk for days about Beyonce. I'm going to share my screen right quick before we hop into a little EYO conversation, um, because I want to talk about the latest album. All right. Can you see my screen there, Sadiqa?
Yes.
So we got the latest album coming, Renaissance, July 29th. This is not
I
a
can't wait.
game.
It's
We have
not.
gone from Formation to Lemonade, or I mean, it's all in one, but we're talking about Formation, Lemonade. We're talking about Black is King, right? And now we're talking about Renaissance. Can we see the messaging?
Okay. Oh, don't forget the gift. Before Black is King, when the album was just the gift.
Oh yeah, it's a gift.
Another Oshun reference, because Oshun is the giver of gifts. You know,
Mm-hmm.
talked about
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So look right there.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. So, without further ado, listen, great convo, Sadiqa Love. You're always welcome on the show. Hopefully, you
Yeah.
tune in when I do the
Oh,
Belle
you
is
know
the
it.
Feminist show.
You know
We're
it.
going to explore feminism in Disney film, and how that shows up in everyday life. So I'm super excited about that conversation. So I want you to tap in, be in the comments. If you want to join and talk, like, feel free. This show, Beyonce Beyond the Beehive. We're not just fans. We're talking about the exploration or the evolution of Beyonce in Formation, how she's remixed Black feminism, and how she has tapped into educating our people about ancient spiritual practices that are really, really relevant for us to know and understand. So, without further ado, we're going to pause on that conversation and put B to rest. And we're going to spend the next few minutes talking about InvestFest. Sadiqa Love, you going to
Yes.
InvestFest, right?
Yes. Now, what are you looking forward to learning the most? It's a lot. There's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot going on. So, All right, so InvestFest, August 5th through the 7th in ATL, brought to you by Earn Your Leisure. We have Steve Harvey showing up. I'm gonna be honest, like, I am a Steve Harvey fan just from his books. I'm a big Steve Harvey supporter. I love what he represents, but to hear about his investments and listen to him in this setting is going to be different for me because I just love act like a man, think like what is
Mhm.
it? Act like a man, think like whatever. I love that Steve Harvey, so I'm looking forward to hear what I think who I think is a great man. Looking forward to hearing what he has to talk about. Of course, Wall Street Trapper is one of my faves. I took his master class, so I love watching him talk about
Yeah.
items. And can I say
Chris,
I'm looking forward to most being in a room of people of like mind who are interested in generational wealth and getting bringing business mindset to our culture for not greed, not for capitalism, but just so that we can be a part of the conversations and we can have seats at the table. I'm looking forward to being in that
exactly.
environment.
And what you know what I love about Earn Your Leisure is
Hmm.
that one, I love the name. Like your leisure. But then
Yes.
I watched a few things recently. I watched the Wall Street Trapper interview with 19 Keys. That
Hmm.
exceptional. If y'all can go look that up, please go watch that. I also watched an interview with Angela Yee and the Earn Your Leisure people,
Hmm. Hmm.
guys, and they legit. I love what they were saying about treating a woman. One of the owners said, like, if you're with me and you're a woman, you never have to worry about paying for anything. And it wasn't like a flex or like I gotta do this because I'm a man, but it was really coming from the heart and like what he saw as protection, leisure. Like, I have wealth and here's how I spread it. Like, if he's treating you, he's not just treating you to something fancy or whatever. Like, he's exposing you to a world where wealth is built. And I just feel like
Mm.
I love that.
Mm.
If you're a man and you're trying to court a woman, court her in wealthy spaces. And wealth can be what it is for you in that moment. You know what I mean? Like, if your wealth ain't up there at like stake 48 or whatever, okay, it ain't. But still, go in spaces where your wealth is being built. And like, I just love that about them.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. No, I love that. I just I had a prayer about a year ago. Before I even it was almost 2 years ago actually now. Before I even tapped in, and I was just like, I just want my soul tribe. I just want to be in places and spaces of people who are like-minded individuals, and I came across Earn Your Leisure. So I'm super duper excited for InvestFest. We're gonna pull up. We're gonna be in ATL. If you guys don't have your tickets, go to investfest.com. Listen, I'm not affiliated. I just spread the love because I know it's good information. It changed my life, changed my mindset. I have been a renter for a very long time and I never wanted to buy because I'm like, I don't want that hassle. I'm waiting for my husband and my kids. And then I went to InvestFest last year and they helped me really understand why building wealth is so important even in this space. And it changed my mindset. And then I went on like a journey to make that next move. So I love what these folks are doing and tap into those videos because
Yes.
they're really talking to men in a certain way that I haven't heard in a long time about what their place is in life, in wealth, in business. And I think it's a necessary conversation for men and women
Yes.
alike to understand in a different way. So InvestFest, y'all,
Yes. Tap
August
in,
5th
get
through
them
August
tickets.
7th. So Earn Your Leisure is live at 8 o'clock on YouTube for Market Mondays. So I'm gonna drop because I'm gonna listen in to see what's happening in the market. And Sadiqa,
Yes.
what's your last words? What you want to say to the people?
Well, first of all, follow me, y'all. Follow me at Sadiq with Love. Follow my cosplay journey, my creative entrepreneur journey. Oh, follow my cosplay journey, my creative entrepreneur journey. Just check me out. It's at Sadiq with Love. My name is right there on the screen. And yeah, just hit me up if you want to talk about anything metaphysical, want to talk about cosplay, nerdy ish. Like, I'm down for it. That's it. That's
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So it's your girl Crystle D. You can follow me at My Thoughts Could Be a Blog on IG. Also, My Thoughts Could Be a Blog on YouTube. Make sure you tap into my link tree, Crystle D E E. Yes, and that way you can watch Sidebar Conversations, past YouTube videos, get all your links there as well, and read the latest Sidebar Conversations newsletter. We do have an update coming on Beyonce Beyond the Beehive to discuss some of the points that we went over on this show. As always, thanks so much for listening. Peace, love, and listen, it's a full moon coming up on the 14th, so make sure we're spending some time releasing the energy that no
Yes,
longer serves
serves
us.
us.
Let it go. Let it
Bye.
go.
Like, say bye to it.
Thanks so much for chit chatting with your girl, Sadiqa. As always, I love you when you join,
Yes,
okay? We'll
thank you,
talk
Crystal, for
soon.
having me. Yes, see
All
y'all.
right. Y'all have a good night.